now you're starting to hear more and more chatter about some kind of spooky October surprise. They're like, just wait, we got something else up our sleeves. I mean, come on, really? I mean, we've already been through 2, sadly, assassination attempts. We've been through them changing their candidate. And now they're saying, hey, just wait for it. There's more, ladies and gentlemen. Dun, dun, dun. Here's Hillary promising that.
Brief final question. You liken yourself to Cassandra, the Greek mythological figure who could see the future and the prophecies, but was never believed. Putting that Cassandra hat on for the moment, but we're listening. What is something you see happening in the near future that we should be taking more seriously?
Well, I do think that the press needs a consistent the press that's not supporting Trump, blatant.
I'm just going to pause it for a second because you see what she's saying. The press needs a consistent narrative. How dare you, those press members that are not supporting my candidate, my side, Kamala Harris and Timmy Walz, how dare you?
Very persistently. The press that's trying to be the press, be objective, be, reporting the facts. The press needs a consistent narrative about the danger that Trump poses. Because, people may still look at the danger and say, I don't care. It doesn't affect me. I'm going to vote for him for X, Y, or Z. But okay. But at least people need to be woken up and given the facts about what he has done, is saying, and would do. And
again, have we not heard that over and over and over and over again from the media? How scary it is, how, this is like, the beginnings of World War II all over again. My gosh, I mean, it's all we hear, but apparently it's not enough.
Anticipate that, something will happen in October, as it always does. The Russians, as I said earlier, are very active in this election. We know the Iranians are active as well. Chinese uses TikTok, or they certainly did against Biden and for Trump. I think they're a little less pro-Trump right now. So you look at where people get their information, and they get their information largely from social media. And so the campaign is doing the best job it can to combat both domestic and foreign false disinformation. But I anticipate there will be a full court press in October. The digital airwaves will be filled. And why does that matter? Because the press that is pro-Trump anyway, oftentimes stories are put on digitally that then are picked up by, let's say, at Fox and others.
Ooh.
And then those stories are stories, so the mainstream press reports on them, and so that story then takes on a life of its own. There will be concerted efforts to distort and pervert Kamala Harris, who she is, what she stands for, what she's done. I mean, look, the crazy story about me running a child trafficking operation.
Okay, all right, Hillary. So you get the idea here. You get the idea. Look, I'm not going to dispute that there's misinformation, disinformation out there, but let's be very clear with each other. It's on both sides. I mean that. It's on both sides. What do you think the whole dossier that Hillary Clinton put out was, other than misinformation, disinformation? Paid for by the Hillary Clinton campaign. You had 51 ex-spooks who made sure that the New York Post lost its Twitter account, and that plenty of other people were affected because you weren't allowed to share a story about a certain laptop that turned out to be absolutely 1,000% true, because that was misinformation, disinformation. So you see where this goes, all right? I'm not saying that everybody is perfect. And by the way, sometimes the truth is kind of hard to get at, and you get a little bit of this information, you get a little bit of that information. And ideally, in a real democracy, a real republic, guess what? We get to make our own decisions. We get to look at all the information that's out there and come away with what we believe. But they don't want you to believe that. They really, really don't. More on that in a moment. But first, what is this October surprise? What is it? Carville said the same darn thing, right? He went on CNN the other night, James Carville, who used to run the Clinton campaign, and said, something tells me something else is going to happen. I don't know what it is, but the idea is we get 42, now we get less than 40 days to go. 6 weeks is a sprint to the finish. I think there's another plot twist coming. So Hillary's talking October surprise. Carville's talking October surprise. What are they thinking about? I'm going to tell you what one source said to me. Somebody pretty high up, off record, said to me that he believes there's a real chance they're actually going to try and put Kamala Harris into the job. Just a couple weeks before the actual election, they might actually say Joe has to step down, Kamala jumps in. And that's her opportunity to do the big Oval Office address to the nation. She's taking over. That's her opportunity to become the first female president, the first female Black Indian president, right, in the history of the nation. And they're hoping that sort of feel-good wave rides her right through into the ballot boxes there with people casting their vote because they don't necessarily want change. I don't know if that helps the left. I'm going to just tell you, I'm going to be completely frank with you. If I were advising them, I'd say I wouldn't bother with that because I think people really want change. The fact that she's tethered, as we should say, to Joe Biden is actually not something that helps her. And if she's actually running the administration and we get another jobs report or another employment or confidence report or any of these things, it then hurts her even more. So I don't think that October surprise of putting Kamala Harris in as the first female president of the United States, I don't think that that's actually really going to play in Peoria, so to speak. I mean, hey, it plays in Peoria because it's Illinois. And if you go back to that map, like it's one of the few places where we can anticipate, the blue's going to come through. But even there, guys, I mentioned this on Friday's show. I'm amazed because even in the state of Illinois, look at that blue. Everything else around it could go red. You're not seeing enthusiasm. In fact, in the 2020 election, you had over 3 million Democrat ballots being requested by this point in time. And guess what we get now? 990,000. Okay, I get it. It was COVID. It was 2020, this, that, and the other. But hey, you know what else? If you go back to some of the other years, like 2016 and 2018, you see 1.4 million requested, 1.6 million requested. So why is it that in the here and now, nobody's requesting, at least comparatively, compared to past elections? Why are you not seeing the enthusiasm for the Democrat ballots in the state of Illinois? I'm watching the same data coming to us in the state of Virginia, where Republicans are actually up some 7 points from where they were in 2020. Democrats are actually down like 1.6 compared to where they were in 2020. Granted, Democrats have still requested more absentee ballots than Republicans in the state of Virginia. But again, it points to the enthusiasm. Where is the enthusiasm? It's not there with the Kamala Harris crowd. It's just not there.